Read 180 presents Monster by award-winning author Walter Dean Myers. Before we get started, let me tell you a little about this book. Monster is a work of realistic fiction. In other words, it's made up, but it's a lot like something that could happen in real life. The narrator, that's the person telling the story, is 17-year-old Steve Harmon, who lives in Harlem, a neighborhood in New York City. Steve is an African-American high school student who's interested in becoming a filmmaker, but his dreams are put in jeopardy when he's arrested and charged with murder. This is a pretty intense book. It opens with Steve in Rikers Island, a prison in New York City. He's waiting for his trial to begin. To get through the experience, Steve decides to write about his trial in the form of a movie script. He works on the script in the courtroom while the trial is taking place. Then, at night, when he returns to the prison, he writes journal entries that describe some of his feelings and also tell about some things that happened in the past. So the book has typewritten parts that look like a movie script, as well as handwritten sections from Steve's journal. Life in prison is really harsh, and Steve is terrified that he'll spend the rest of his life there. It's up to a jury to decide if he is guilty or innocent. As you read the book, draw conclusions about whether or not you think Steve committed a crime. Now let me turn things over to your reading coach, Nathan.
Hi, this is Nathan, and I'll be reading Monster with you. During the book, I'll be interrupting from time to time to make sure we don't miss anything important. I'll also show you some of the strategies I use to figure out confusing parts and the meanings of unfamiliar words. When you hear this sound, it means I'm about to break in. Remember to follow along in your book as you listen. Okay, let's get started. Head for the journal entry on page 1.
Monster by Walter Dean Myers. The best time to cry is at night, when the lights are out, and someone is being beaten up and screaming for help. That way, even if you sniffle a little, they won't hear you.
Remember how Mr. Sawicki said that to make an honest film, a person needs to be honest? I wonder if that's what Steve's doing now, filming himself in search of clues about who he is and whether or not he is an honest person. So that's Steve Harmon's story. The author, Walter Dean Myers, has left us with a lot of questions about Steve's character. He didn't just tell us that Steve was innocent and put on trial by mistake. And he doesn't come right out and say that Steve helped out during the holdup, so when Mr. Nesbitt was murdered, he was also responsible. He lets us read Steve's journal and the screenplay and decide for ourselves. As a reader, I think it's exciting to have to figure stuff out, instead of having the author give me all the answers. So who do you think Steve Harmon is? And how do you think Steve's experiences will affect his future? Whether or not he was innocent, I hope he'll become his own man now and stay away from people like James King and Bobo Evans. He's fortunate enough to get a second chance. Now it's up to him to decide what he'll do with it and what he'll become. Thanks for reading with us.
Monster